Welcome to the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I'm your host, Holly Heat. I just wish I had a hugely overhyped, highly anticipated game to talk about today. Oh wait, I do. Thank you to the football gods for a truly glorious Sunday afternoon. It wasn't Super Bowl Sunday, but it was a Super Sunday. Yes, I'm talking about the spectacular loss by none other than the Dallas Cowboys. The stars have aligned, no pun intended, and everything is right in the world. I will give them credit. I was worried for a minute that they might actually make it to the Super Bowl because they did have a pretty decent season. But I, of all people, should have known better. However, I will say the Dallas Cowboys fan base is undefeated in the category of delusion. Now, there's a stat you can be proud of. Now y'all can take your America's team and We Dem Boys hashtags and throw them in the garbage along with your postseason. Thanks to the memories, Dallas. I have a great show for you this week. Retired NBA champion Mike James is here. Now let's get to the hot seat. Welcome back to the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I am your host, Holly Heat, and I am here with retired NBA player, former NBA champion Mike James. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, this is a hot seat. I got to ask you some questions.
Okay.
I knew of you, of course, when you played.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed after researching you, pretty much, I noticed that you've played like a number of different places, not only, for the NBA, but overseas. Yeah. And so I wanted to kind of ask, because it's a stark difference, obviously. But what was your favorite, place to play overseas and in the NBA, or did you even have sort of a favorite?
Yeah, people always ask me, they're like, well, what teams have you played for? And I'll just say, been around the world and
Yeah.
Like, don't even trip. Like, I don't even want to go into details because there's too many in between.
Yeah.
But I always said I was raised in Miami. I was born in Miami as far as my basketball career started, but I grew up in Detroit. Which means that's when I came into my own as a ball player, really starting to realize, I'm pretty good as an athlete in this game. And so those was two of my favorite cities that I've played in the NBA because of how much, it meant to me while I was there. But overseas, I'll say France. France was cool. I'm drinking my hot seat juice. So if I belch every now and again, don't hold it against me.
I should have made myself some hot seat juice, honestly. I'm kind of regretful that I have this coffee drink now.
We're not telling you what the hot seat juice is. Just know it's hot seat juice.
Okay, yeah, because I always, people don't really know what that overseas life is really like. And I mean, it's been, obviously a while for you, but I think it's a lot different. Just the fan base is different and the experience is different. And your life playing overseas is it can be hard.
The best thing I think about playing overseas is that you don't have all the influence of the Western culture that's influencing you from spending your money and trying to keep up with everything, where you're over there for 10 months, the team is paying for, your room and board, your car. Yeah. So you're living, your living expenses, you're not really tripping off how you live and you saving more money. So even though you're over there for 10 months and you have to deal with the culture for 10 months, you can really take it two ways. You can learn the culture, you can try to understand a new experience and take a real advantage of the history of what's going on, or you can just really just deal with it as a job, and you're doing this for 10 months and then you're going back to your life for 2 months. Hot seats juice. 2 months and and you're home back for the summer, and then you're back to all over again. But when it's all said and done, the level of saving and the lifestyle, just your mindset is so different as a European player that has had success than a professional than an NBA player, because they don't have that same. Well, you still have your same distractions overseas as you have anywhere else. But
what distractions? No,
I'm
kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Just the lifestyle, the culture.
No.
And so it ain't just about the female distraction.
Yeah.
It's just you could be distracted in so many other ways as well, where you got so many friends that is close to you when you're playing in the NBA. You have so many people that are sharks trying to get your money and coming up with all kind of bogus business ideas for you. And so when you over there, you just focus on ball. You have a rhythm to what you're doing every single day. You're practicing twice a day. You eating Popeyes and Pizza Hut and McDonald's. But at the same, and you can get a beer at McDonald's. So it's like, you know what? You can get you some hot seed juice. But,
right. Yeah.
But, that's the upside of being over there. Then the difference between playing in the league.
Yeah. So that brings up a point, though, like, and maybe things are going to change now that we have like NIL and some of these kids coming out of, the new NIL rules, and kids coming out of or in college are going to be able to, capitalize on their name, image, likeness and make some money. When you're talking about going overseas, I know some players struggle with like, well, do I want to kind of tough it out in G League, or should I just go make this money overseas? Like, how do you feel?
I remember when I was the last cut with the Miami Heat when I first, my career first started. I was the last cut. And the first thought in my head was, well, I'm about to go back overseas and I'm about to go get this chicken. I got NBA on my resume now. Been here all summer, so that means there's something special about me. I'm about to go get this bread.
Yeah.
And then one of the head scouts for the Miami Heat told me, no, go to the CBA, out of sight, out of mind. So my thoughts was never minor league, but at the same time, I think that you got to realize that the window is real short to make money, and not everyone is really good in this game. They may have certain skills that they're good at, but overall, when they're put up against their competition, are they showcasing that they can be successful on that level? See, that was the difference between me when I was overseas. I was still, even though they was like, who the heck are you? At the end of the year, I was still up for MVP votes and one of the best players over there. So it's like, man, I'm nicer than all of y'all over here. I still think I could play in the league. So it was still, I was still judging my level of where I'm at as an athlete based off the level of where I was at.
Yeah.
And so if I couldn't dominate that level, what makes me think that I can even think about playing in the NBA? So the problem with a lot of these kids is they lie to themselves, and they've lived this, they have such a broad, so many people have told them so many different tales about how skilled and talented they are, but they never really judge what they do against their competition. See, in order to be an NBA basketball player, you have to dominate all the other competition. If you're just good against all the other competition, what makes you think, one, you're going to make a roster, you're going to take somebody's spot, and two, you're going to even break the roster and get on the court? It's one thing to make a team. It's a whole nother beast just to even get minutes.
So you think they need to be like really realistic about their level of talent, so to speak, to make a decision like, about what they're going to try to go for.
100%. You got to understand, even playing in the D League, you averaging 15, 16 points in the D League, even 18, 20. It's like there's a bunch of kids averaging 18, 20, 16. So it's like, what's going to make you different? If this is minor leagues, well, then that means that you're supposed to be special in minor leagues. You're supposed to dominate minor leagues because it's not the highest level. So if you believe you're good on the highest level, why are you mediocre on the minor league, on the medium level, on the low level? So that's letting me know, okay, there might be somebody just as good or better than you. Now it comes down to character. Now it comes down to attitude. Because you know what? You just like all the other kids. Y'all putting up all the same stats. And that's where these kids get it twisted. They think, oh, I'm averaging 15, 16. I had a good game last night. It's like, that doesn't equate to you becoming if you can't dominate the level that you're on, that definitely doesn't equate to you becoming an NBA basketball player.
Yeah. And speaking of it being like a lot harder than it looks like, or that it seems, what do you think is like the biggest misconception that either aspiring players have and fans have about playing in the NBA?
I remember one training camp we had, and I remember Peja Stojakovic ran to the sideline. He took his shoe off.
Yeah.
His sock was bloody. He pulled his sock off. He ripped the tape off his toe. His whole toenail came off. He put another band, he wrapped it up with something else, put his sock back on, and went back out there to work. It's like, don't nobody care about how you feel. You know, so many times people think that because it's like, you know, they think it's easy because they don't understand that what you do today, they expect you to get up tomorrow and do it all over again tomorrow. You can't even get out of bed the night before. You having trouble. So that's the reason why you even see a lot of these commentators like Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, his knees is almost knocked together.
Oh, Kenny.
They all wearing Air Force Ones with suits. It's not because they trying to be cool. They got bunions. They feet hurt. All those years of all that they've been, the game, the toil that they put on their body is now coming out to light now as they gotten older. And so it's showing what goes on with your body. Like you really sacrifice. I had a hip replacement. I am 46 years old. I had a hip replacement. Why? Because the amount of pressure and the work that I had to put in just to become the athlete at the level that I was at. You see what I'm saying? I had to do it. So this is what I put my body through. I feel great today. I put my hand up on your hip, then we did. You know, but at the end of the day, I wasn't going to, you know, the hard thing even about a hip replacement is people look at it as an old man surgery. So, you know, when you get that, it's like, dang, you old now. I was like, man, I'm not going through the rest of my life.
Wear and tear on your body, though.
For the last 15 years, I mean, I was supposed to have this thing even while I was playing.
Yeah.
But because I was on such a I'm a thug it out type mindset, like that ain't really what it is. I'm gonna be all right. You know, I learned how to walk with a little bop and a little lean. People used to think I was cool. But nah, I was trying to take that pain off that
You were just trying to make it,
I was
right?
just trying to make it.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting point. So you said, like, you just have to get up. You feel bad the night before, but you have to go perform the next day. Now there's a lot of criticism, I feel like, on by commentators typically and fans about the rest days that players get. So do you think that that's better now that they're kind of able to give players rest days now? Or do you think it's kind of like soft?
Of course, that's what makes it the NBA. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a special league, and it's only dogs supposed to be in there. It's only supposed to be the most elite. You know, supposed to be able to make it, even from the 14th person on the roster. It's supposed to be something special about that person as well. And now, I remember I was thinking about this when I said it's crazy how, you know, even in the 70s and the 80s, you always heard about the Wilt Chamberlain stories. You always heard about the, you know, cats as soon as they get off the plane, they got the limo, you know, right there. I'll see y'all tomorrow, you know what I mean? But when they go to work tomorrow, they're going to have a suit on and they going for 40. Like, it ain't going to be no games. We ain't talking. It ain't nothing to talk about. I'm coming out. It's time to bootstrap. I'm going to play hard and I'm going to work hard.
Yeah.
Now, the kids don't take it as a job no longer. You know, they look at themselves more like celebrities, more like actors, more like rappers. It's more entertainment. You know, it's not a job. It's not. So now they basically carry themselves like that. Yo, I don't feel like doing it today. I need to rest. Yo, I play. You saw what I did. I'm good. Like we ain't. So the mindset, because of the way they carry, it's not a business. You know, back then it was a time. It was business. You know, when it was time to like people, it was almost like you were so appreciative for what the game done for you that the only thing that you could say thank you to the game is go hard. No matter what you do off the court, it's like, look, I got it. Like, this is what saved me. So I'm going to show the game thank you by going hard for the game. Like, that ain't asking for nothing. See, these kids don't look at it like that because they never had to struggle. Or everything was given to them from the beginning. So it's like, I don't want to play. It's like, what do you mean? You know what? I'm going to take 3 days off. I need a sabbatical. My head. I am stressed. You like, you couldn't do nothing like that, like I grew up in an era where it really was survival of the fit. Only the strong survive. If you weak-minded, you got to go. Coaches was hurting your feelings.
Yeah.
Like, people, like, if you show any sign of weakness, it's like, oh, you can't be on this team. Like, when I played with the Detroit Pistons, it was literally a team of 14 pit bulls.
That's exactly what I think of when I think of that team.
If you would have came there with no other mindset than a pit mindset, like, man, they'd have kicked you in your tail out the Palace Center. Like, man, you don't belong here. You can't even make it, not even on the court. You could have been really, really good, but that ain't going to be the thing. The thing that was going to get you the most was you can't handle what's going on off the court. We too tough for you. We going to break you. We going to hurt your feelings. You might mess around and be in the corner in fetal position crying. But at the same time, if you that weak, you don't even deserve to be out here. Like, gone.
Yeah.
Like, gone. We ain't babysitting nobody. Gotta be tough.
Yeah. So, that's an interesting point about how the league has evolved, or I don't know, devolved, or whatever you want to call it, kind of gone soft, what a lot of people like to say. But one of the things that's evolved now is the point guard. And so I wanted to ask you, because I know that, you're point guard, but you scored. So now it's like the point guard position has evolved into like a scoring option. Yeah. Like, so do you think you would actually, aside from like the kids and how they're, how they are these, days in the NBA, do you think that you would actually thrive more in today's NBA because of your playing style?
100%. I remember a funny story. I was in Toronto. It's on YouTube. They call it like the angry Mike James interview.
Oh, I absolutely watched that.
and it's funny because they were bothered with me because I shot like 6 for like 25 in this game, but I had 13 assists and 10 rebounds.
Right.
And I'm sitting there listening to them tell me how selfish I am, but for the month, I'm averaging like 30, I'm averaging like 30, 12, and like 30, 12, and like 8 for the month. And I'm sitting there like, are y'all sugar honey iced tea in me right now? Y'all sitting there talking about me being, and I'm averaging 13 assists. Who does that? But I'm giving you 30 points for the month. And y'all telling me I'm selfish. I don't understand this right now. Like, y'all don't make sense to me, and y'all trying to make me look like I'm the bad guy. I said, I'm sorry I'm not Steve Nash. I'm sorry I'm not your traditional point guard. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a threat. I work hard every single day. I shoot hundreds of shots because when I get in the game, I'm not hoping that ball go in. I know it's going in. And so it made me look like I'm this angry person. But what I was trying to help, like, understand was, how am I, like, out there just looking out for myself, but yet I'm dominating the ball on not just scoring, but also how I'm getting everybody else involved. It was crazy to me. It was like Chris Bosh had a career, like that was the best season of his career. First year All-Star. It was like, I made him an All-Star. He didn't make himself an All-Star. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't get that credit because, I was the selfish basketball player.
I found it really funny because I definitely watched that, and it's funny because there was actually go ahead.
But this generation,
yeah,
the difference is I was like, I don't know. I guess you can't really say it. Like I played against a few of these guys from this generation, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun. I got a real funny, I can't wait till someone call me on this, but I remember playing against Damian Lillard. I was 38 years old, starting for the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
And we just lost to the Lakers. We was in last place when I first got the starting spot. By the end of the year, we was fighting for the 8th. We were fighting for the last playoff spot. And this was like a big game. We lost to LA. Hot seat juice. Rick Carlisle, he cusses me out after the game. You old fart, who you think you are?
God.
So, I ain't do nothing the LA game. Like, it's okay. Like, you got it. So the next game, we back to back. We playing against Portland. And I think this is Damian Lillard's like third year. And I gotta play well now because I just got it from the last game.
Right.
And so I remember running out on the court in the beginning of the game, and I whispered to him, I said, I bet you think you gonna bust my tail tonight, or you gonna bust my old tail tonight. I said, I want to see it. And he looked at me, and he just looked me up and down, and he didn't say nothing to me. And he was coming off a screen. He was making a play, and he tried to reject the screen, and he couldn't reject it, and he passed it. And somehow, I guess they called a timeout or something. I just screamed out, like, my man ain't doing nothing tonight. I said, I promise you. I said, it's going to be because of y'all, man. Because I'm yelling it so he could hear it.
Right.
So I'm antagonizing the situation. So at halftime, I ran out. It was the third quarter. He had the ball. They had the ball. I ran out at halftime. I said, you thought my old butt. I wasn't saying butt and all that, but I'm not going to cuss for the podcast.
Right.
But he was like, you thought my old butt. I said, you thought my old butt was going to pick you up at half court. I said, nah, you still got to show me. He had like 12 points that night. We blew them out by like 30. But the funny thing is, I played against these young boys. I remember I played against Kyrie. I just made him angry. Like, it used to be defense was like a mental thing to me, but it was always like a game to me. So I never just played defense. I played a strategy. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out where you're weak at. Where if it's mental weakness that you have, well, I'm going to bully you. And I'm going to try to because that's going to be the first thing. If I can bully you, I'm going to play with you, not while you had a ball. I'm going to bully you off the ball. Like when the ref says, every time you go to set a screen, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to scratch you, I'm going to step on your foot, I'm going to make you so mad at me. So by the time you get the ball, and I already know you're not going to fight me. So I'm not even thinking about that. So it was always like little games that I would always play with people. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, I was 38 years old in the NBA, and that season I got 2 or 3 first team all defensive team votes. Like, because I had such a bulldog mindset defensively. It's just, and offensively, I've always felt like you can't do what I'm doing. You can't have just as much fun as me. This generation, they think I'm doing me. It don't matter what you doing. Like, I'm doing me. I didn't like that. I didn't like my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. I like to be able to have fun and you looking at the clock trying to figure out when this damn game is over. You see, and I don't think overall the mindset has changed dramatically because it's not winners. See, when we grew up, even myself, like, I hate to lose more than I love to win. See, I talk about L's more than I talk about dubs. When I got dubs, I had great games. I don't want to talk about that stuff. I talk about missed free throws. I talk about turnovers. I talk about plays I didn't make, but I had a great game. Yeah. So that was always, it ain't never, yo, did you see that play that I did last night? Yo, you see me come down and hit him with that? Yeah. I never, but that's the thing.
You wouldn't have been making a T-shirt of yourself
No.
Like
No. Dunking the ball.
Dunking the ball.
After,
Like John Collins.
As soon as you did it, like the
Yeah.
next day, like seriously, like terrible. But
It's a different generation.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
It's all a show.
Yeah.
They want to be out front.
Yeah.
But you can't knock them. But at the same time, I think it should you use your brand to expose who you are. Don't use your brand just to like put you out there for nonsense. You know, you could take so much more advantage of your brand. You know, and I don't think these kids do that. They use it for the wrong reasons. They use the Instagram and they followers. They got such an outlet, but yet they don't use it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that's the saddest.
Well, you touched on in your defensive strategy, like some shit talking. I'm gonna say it, shit talking. So I know that Gary Payton came out. He did an interview and he was talking about like the biggest shit talker, and he referenced Larry Bird. So I was gonna ask you who was the best or the worst, I guess, shit talker in your experience. I know you played with some, and I'm sure you played against them. Like I always think about like Rasheed Wallace and like Ben Wallace and stuff but
you know what? Guys didn't talk trash. They just talked.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like she would get mad and the referee and a guy miss a free throw and he'll scream out ball don't lie. So it sounds
one
like
of my favorite things.
Yeah, but it's basically saying like that was a bad call.
Yeah,
like
bad
you
call.
shouldn't have, so ball don't lie. So
Yeah.
I mean, but guys never like I'm busting your tail and da 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 da. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like funny. Gary Payton don't like me because of this. He don't like me because of this story. But I remember I was playing against Miami. No, I was with Toronto playing against Miami. And we played against, the Heat, and Shaq was on the team. And for some reason...
Must have been 2006 then.
Yeah,
was that
it was
the
around that
championship
time.
year?
It was
You
around
know,
that
I
time.
know.
Yeah. So I come in the game, so I sub in, and Shaq like starts talking crazy to me. And I'm looking like, yo, you don't even know me. Like, why is you... So, I start talking back to him, so I'm angry, whatever, da-da-da-da. So I had a really good game, but we lost. So after the game, fast forward, the Heat bench is right here, and the free throw line is right here. Shaq is at the free throw line, and he's high-fiving his teammates, and I'm standing like, you like Shaq, I'm standing like not close enough that he can grab me, but I'm in his space right now and the words that he said earlier, I was like, I want to show me the person that you said I was earlier. I'm not him. So you got to show me that now. And so he didn't acknowledge me. And he's high-fiving everyone. So like I'm standing there for like 30 seconds looking in his eyes, and then he doesn't say nothing. So I walk. This is like one of my baddest, like biggest moments. I'm like the toughest right now. So I walk down to our locker room, which is all the way down the other end. So, I'm feeling tough right now. And Joey Graham was my teammate, and he's looking at me. He's the only one watching. My whole team was in the locker room. He looked at me and said, "Mike, you was about to fight Shaq." I said, "Man, F Shaq. Shaq don't want none." Da, 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 da. So I'm thinking, I'm on 10 right now. I'm thinking like, ugh. So he looked at me and said, "Mike, what was your game plan?"
Right.
It was seriously like being being drunk in your car and the police flash their lights on you and you sober up so quick and you like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I promise you, I never went from 10 to 0 faster in my life. Like I looked, and I thought about it. I seriously grabbed Joey in a headlock. I said, "Come on, my dude." I said, "Let's not give this no more energy. We don't even want this to get even." I want to say sorry to him. Like, I'm sorry. I even but at the same time. So fast forward, we play Miami like a week later in Miami again. So Dwayne doesn't play this game, so GP is like one of the first options.
Yeah.
So the first 3 or 4 buckets in the first quarter, he scored like the first 3-4 buckets. So he in his mix. So he's looking at me like this, and so I'm looking at him like, come on, GP, like be cool, like I'm the young bull now, like I'm a young bull now, like be cool, like let's just poop. So then he's looking at me, so then I would go, so then this is my favorite one-liner. I think this is my best one-liner I've ever said to somebody ever in my life, and I think this is the reason why he ain't like me. But I was like, ooh, after I said it, I said, ooh, that was cold. Yeah. But I looked at him, he looked at me and said, Mike, you talk a lot of shit. You talk a lot of shit. I said, GP, look here, I bark loud and I bite hard.
Said, that is a good line.
I said, ooh, shit, that was good. He said, I bite harder. I said, GP, we ain't got nothing else to say to each other. Move him. However you feel, move him. So wherever he went, I'll just follow him. Like he go talk to Pat Riley, I'll be standing there in the conversation. I was picking him up 95 feet. I mean, I'm trying to turn him like 5 times in the backcourt. Like, you about to have the worst 40, like the rest of this game is about to be the worst problem for you. Because on offense, I'm going at your neck. And on defense, I'm about to make you're not even going to touch the ball no more. That's how bad I'm going to make this for you. So then he looked at me. And he said, Mike, you must have thought I was some type of poo putt or something. I said, nah, GP, you OG. I never disrespect you. You thought I was a poo putt. That was the problem. And I saw him like some months later. He gave me this, and then he was supposed to pick me for the big 3. And he didn't pick me. And I know why, because he don't like me. I was like, GP don't like me. All because of that moment. I've gained more people from the game that didn't like me based off of how I played. Like, I was such a different person off the court than I was on the court. Yeah. But I seriously used to look at myself, and it was almost like I would go and action. Yeah. Like, and the character that I played was like the toughest, baddest, strongest animal. Like, I'm an animal out there. You know what I mean? And that was the character that I thought of, you know? So when I got on the court, it was just like an action. Like, you not tough. I'm tougher than you want to fight. Like, I ain't saying nothing, but I'm in your mix. You know? Yeah. And so that was just it.
So, I've read your comments. I've heard what you've said. How can a woman possibly know anything about sports? My show, The Hot Seat with Holly Heat, is an experience for sports fans to get to know athletes, fans, and myself through an outside-the-box perspective. This fall, you'll see who sits in my hot seat. Do you think there's anybody in the NBA that is like, I mean, because when I think about like, you know, shit talking, tenacity, like that like kind of grittier defense, the main person that comes up is going to be Pat Beverley. You know, maybe Draymond Green, maybe. But do you think there's anybody that even
there's not a lot of because defense is hard, and a lot of people don't. But there's no accolades for defense. There is, but it's so hard to get those accolades for defense. You know, to be considered that day in and day out. It is so hard to backpedal. It is so much easier to go forward than it is to backwards. And so, hot seat juice. Imagine, you know, consistently, this is what you're known for what you're doing. And so I think a lot of kids don't put effort into defense because of how hard it is to stay consistent with it overall. That's the reason why Pat Beverley, he's taking on, it's almost like he's taking on that and action. This is who I am. This is my role. This is, so I have to be this every single night. We're not looking for you, Pat Beverley, to be the number one scoring threat. We're not looking for you to be these things. You know your role. You stay in that. You'll make a lot of money, and you'll always be on a team. Because why? We know what you bring to the table is just as valuable as a person that can score.
Yeah, and he came to the league an untraditional way too. 100%. So,
but the difference between us is I get buckets.
You're right. No, you're right.
I am a threat offensively. You're not going to look at the home team not gonna go every time he score.
like why he shoot that?
Yeah, no. The problem when I played, the visiting team was always like, oh man, Mike in the game.
Yeah.
The home team was like, yay, Mike in the game.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Right. So I just want to shift gears a little bit here and kind of ask you, because, I've looked, at your Instagram page and stuff, and I was wondering how you feel in regard to COVID about them finally allowing Kyrie to play. And, do you think that there's been some thoughts that the Nets may even, pay some fines, or I don't know if Kyrie would pay those fines or the Nets would pay those fines. I'm not sure who would. But if they allow him to play the home games during the playoffs. So do you have any thoughts about, that whole kind of...
The Nets should have been took the fine. They should have been had his back with this. I think that, what Kyrie standing up for this is good for him. Mm-hmm. And he didn't conform because they put the pressure on him to conform. They threatened his money. They did, and that's not fair. Now it comes down to that's not my will. Now you forcing me to do something. You tying my hands behind my back. Like, why? If it's supposed to be my choice whether or not, just like a flu shot, I have the choice whether or not I get the vaccination or not. Mm-hmm. It's my choice. And so now you're basically telling me you're going to take my choice away and you're demanding. Like, that's not fair. And I think that's where I salute him for not conforming like so many other people that in the beginning, was like, no, I'm not. But then when they started playing with their money, they was like, man, give me the booster. Mm-hmm. Where it go on my foot? Give me one in my foot. Give me one in my arm. Give me my pinky. Like, they not tripping now. Yeah. And so it's like, I commend them for not allowing that to be the thing to determine. So, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was having that discussion the other day about that. I wonder who's going to pay the fines. And my friend I was talking to was like...
Brooklyn need to pay the fines.
I agree. They should. I mean, it'd be... Kyrie, I think it was like $36,000 or something like that. And
Kyrie is... I said this to someone, and they didn't... They was like, what are you talking about? I said, Kyrie is as dominant to this game today. Mm-hmm. His presence is as dominant as Shaquille O'Neal's presence was on the court. Kyrie's presence is that dominant. He changes the whole diameter, the whole perspective of the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. He changes, even when during the playoffs last year before he got hurt, they beat Milwaukee by 30 in one of the games. In Game 2, they was up 2-0 to Milwaukee before he got hurt. In Game 3, they was about to win. Yeah. And he's a 6'3" guard. Yeah. So it's not about. I'm not saying his I'm not saying his bigness. I'm saying his floor presence. Like Shaq was always in the paint, and you can't stop him from dunking. You can't stop Kyrie from getting to wherever Kyrie want to go on the court. Yeah. As a guard, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He causes so much trouble and problems on the defense. Like, who do you double team? Now you can't double KD. So now KD is played one-on-one. James ain't got no pressure on him to now have to perform. So whatever you get from James is going to be a plus. So now really the pressure is on Kyrie. Yeah. And he takes on the pressure because of how dominant he is in the game. Yeah. It's the craziest thing.
Did you see the clip where the fan was, he was playing in Cleveland, and of course they're upset. They're always going to be upset. But the fan was talking mess.
Yeah, you're ungrateful. I gave y'all a championship. Be cool. I mean, the fans are going to speak. Fans are going to say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, you always got to remember that they're just fans. Fans is considered fanatics, and they love their team. And you know what? When you played for the team, they loved you, and when you leave, it's kind of heartbroken. It's kind of like a relationship. And fans sometimes live vicariously through the players.
Absolutely.
And if that's the case, when they feel like their heart was broke, they're gonna take it serious.
Yeah.
And so you gotta just like whatever, go on.
Yeah. I thought that was crazy, but yeah, fans are nuts. So with all that talk about the Nets, do you have any predictions for Brooklyn? Okay, because you're from Amityville.
Yes.
I said that like the scary movies, right?
Yeah, the horror house.
Yeah.
Amityville Horror, 100%.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Was it you got a nickname? Was somebody gave you Amityville Score? That's hard to say.
No.
Wait, you had it.
No.
Okay, I can see.
What that say?
I see Amityville.
The Amityville Horror.
Oh, okay. So you already had that nickname, and then somebody kind of took off on
it the Amityville Scorer.
Yeah.
But
no, I like it.
I like the horror better.
The horror.
Because you know why? I literally was trying to, like, people wouldn't say it, but a lot of people's favorite players in the NBA, I know if you was to ask them who was the toughest player you played against, I know they'll say Mike James. I know Steve Nash signed Mike James last season, not because of Mike James. That name just triggered something to me. Like, the hell?
Yeah.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
That name triggered something in his head. Like, he got to be good.
Yeah.
Like, if he's Mike James, he got to be good based off of the pressure that I put on him every game that I played against him.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just like, I always said, the front office didn't respect me, but my peers, they respected me. You know what I mean? And I just didn't gain the respect of the front office. And that's the reason why I didn't get. But at the end of the day, like my peers, they went to sleep the night before. They knew they was playing against me. They're like, nah, I ain't going out.
I ain't going out tonight. Can't do it.
Nah, I'm going to sleep. I'm eating salad. I'm eating right.
I got to be on my A game tomorrow.
Facts. Because they know this fool going to be out there hacking.
Yeah.
He going to be out there hacking, tripping, wild, crazy. And I'm not trying to get embarrassed by him because he coming out there pulling. So I got to play D2.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm gonna shift back to you, and you have on all of your branding. So we have the 3B Farms in Louisiana. I know that's where you had to go out last week.
I did.
And so is this is a hemp farm?
Yes.
In
Louisiana.
In Louisiana.
My hemp farm.
Okay. Okay, so
and my next fight up, promoter.
Yeah.
This is my business. We have about 8 fighters now. You know, it's been really successful. It's doing really good in the city of Houston. You got to come to the next show.
Yeah, so I was going to go to the one in Sugar Land. And, well, JoJo was supposed to go, and then he didn't go at the last minute. And so I was like, I do.
The next time before the show, I have some fighters on. We can have some fighters on, maybe.
Yes. No, I would love that. And by the way, shout out to Say Word Podcast.
Say Word.
I can't say this.
You can go to my website, 3blouisiana.com, and we have you can check out what we selling. We have products on our website, and we also have our own soap that we've created. So you might.
I'm gonna have to get some of that for sure.
Check out. I ran out of hot seat.
Hot seat juice. Darn it. Well, we'll get some more before we play these games. Okay. So in the next fight up, you are pairing fighters. You prepare. Okay.
No, we put on the shows. We have a matchmaker that matches the fighters, so we can have the best shows. Sometimes you go to shows and you'll see guys like dropping and falling out in the first 30 seconds. And the fights are really not that good because the matchmaker is trying to get one fighter to have like maybe, a walk-in, a little easy fight so it can build his record. Where we focus on putting on shows that's going to be more, that's going to be more entertaining, and at the same time, we believe our fighters can win, but if you're trying to be a champion in this business, you have to be better than everyone when you step in the ring. You can't sit there and say, I'm not going to fight this guy. I'm not. You have to be able to believe that, you know what? If this is the person that's in my way to get to the next stage of what I'm trying to get to, I'm not running from no one. And those are the type of fighters that we love. We love fighters that, you know, they ain't afraid to get in the ring against anyone, and they only believe that they're going to be world champions.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Of course.
That's how it should be. Well, okay, that's awesome. So we're gonna go to a break, and when we come back, we're gonna play Holly Heat's Punch Out, because since your next fight up, my first game has to do with that. So we're gonna go to a break, and we will be right back with Mike James. Welcome back to the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I am your host, Holly Heat, and I am here with Mike James, and we're going to play some games. He's going to be a good sport and play some games with me. So this game is Holly Heat's Punch Out. Since you are you have your next fight up, and you're into fighting. Is it mainly boxing?
Yes.
Okay, so it's mainly boxing. So I'm going to show you a couple of celebrities, and you're going to tell me who you think would win in a fight. Hand-to-hand combat, who you think would win. We'll get to some more fun ones at the end. So first we're going to start with this Kim Kardashian and Miley Cyrus. I guess they have had like a little Kim and followed Miley or something. Something
Kim
about...
can't fight.
You don't think she can fight?
Miley definitely going. I think Miley been in more fights than her. Probably had more fights with boyfriends. You know, like she just seemed like she's been swung on more and been hit and know how to take a hit and give a hit. I think she going to give Kim the business.
But she's like this big.
She's going to give Kim the business. Kim can't fight. You don't remember when Kim and her sister had to fight? And she tried to slap her, and her sister just got the slapping, like got the Uzi slapping her.
Yeah, okay, well, all right, you may have a point there. Okay, I was going to choose Kim because I just think Miley's she's like a little, she's a waif, you know?
Why? Because her breasts are fake and her butt fake?
That wasn't
does that make her bigger? Because she got fake parts, it make her bigger.
Maybe. I mean, Miley's really like...
I got you.
Okay, all right. Well, okay.
We'll come back to that one.
Yeah, okay. Well... I should have really swapped Drake out since they're not beefing anymore. I really should have swapped Drake out for Pete Davidson now. But
I no disrespect, but I promise you, it just looks like Drake and Kanye fight like this. Like they just gonna sit there and just start like don't hit me in the face. Don't hit me in the face. I'm just.
And they're gonna have a diss track the next day.
Yeah, then they go. We didn't say nothing about how good the music was.
Right? No.
We ain't talking about the punches.
Okay. All right. Here's something for the kids that are watching or hopefully not watching. Goofy and Scooby Doo.
Oh, Scooby Doo's dragging them.
You think so?
Of course, Scooby's dragging them.
But Goofy, he's like, he walks on 2 feet. Yeah, I feel like he'd have an advantage like a kangaroo.
Nah, Goofy won't play. You ain't never seen Goofy have a bad moment.
Oh, you pick Goofy, not Scooby-Doo. I'm
picking Scooby-Doo. Scooby been fighting ghosts and scaring people his whole life, dog. Scooby built for that.
Yeah.
Scooby built for that, man. He built for that right there, man. What you mean?
Maybe I didn't think about this. Okay, I don't know if you're like So I'm a huge Tarantino fan. So I have Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill, and then Jason Bourne. Bourne's bad too.
Kill Bill. Come on, she was able to. She killed like 1,000 people in like 3 minutes.
I know.
Like, are you kidding me? And she was able to do the punch to get out of
the tiger.
Yeah,
paw.
the tiger. She learned how to get out of the casket. What you mean? Of course.
Oh yeah, yes she did.
Yes, that's a badass right there. You kidding me?
I'm with you on that. I definitely am going
take
with
my
Beatrix
chances
Kiddo.
with Jason Bourne. All he want to do is shoot you good. She chopping you up and hitting you in the neck, numbing your whole right side.
That's a good point. All right, so we have some commercial people here. We have Flo from Progressive, and then we have I forgot her name.
Flo from Progressive.
Flo from Progressive and
we not even doing it. Flo from Progressive, of course. That's gang right there.
She
thug
seems
right
like
there.
she got a little.
She whooping on something.
Right,
she ain't playing.
Right.
You don't see how many people she plays. She crazy. She play all them different personalities at the same time. That will let you know.
That'll let you know
something ain't right with you, girl.
All right. We got Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Donald.
They're both super old.
Donald. Donald is beating him to a
with his
pulp.
little hands. He got like little fists.
Donald is whooping him. Donald's gonna whoop him.
Oh man.
Toupees is coming off.
I don't know. Yeah. You know what, Donald? No, he might just tackle him.
Nah, he gonna toupees to the side. Don't trip.
All right. So we have Wendy Williams and Gayle King.
Wendy Williams looks so unhealthy. She looked like she one fall away from like going into a wheelchair. Gayle King. All she gonna do is just kick her. She ain't even gonna fight her. She gonna act like she gonna fight her and make Wendy make a move, and it might like pull something.
And then Wendy she's a little top heavy. She might just fall over.
She out of here.
I know, right?
She out of here.
Okay, so these are my really fun ones because they're NBA related. Kwame Brown and Gilbert Arenas.
Man,
as you know, this is an ongoing thing.
Gilbert don't want that smoke. Man, Kwame Brown, what, 6'10", 270? You better stop acting like that, man. Gilbert is a guard. We're not talking about skills. We're not talking about basketball skills.
No.
We are talking about fisticuffs.
Yes.
Kwame gonna drag that man.
You think he go?
Man, Kwame gonna drag that man. Drag him. That's what I believe.
That's a good point. Plus, I think he has a lot of pent up anger. Like,
man, he already mad about how everybody been talking about him not being like the #1 overall player and being a bust. He gonna fight. He gonna drag anybody he get in the ring with.
Man, a lot of pent up anger there.
A lot of pent up anger.
All right, and the last one is Matt Barnes and Derek Fisher.
Derek Fisher ain't no punk now. I'm just saying, like, everybody, Matt Barnes is like the official light-skinned thug. We get it. Matt Barnes is like the official, like, he's the reason, he gave light-skins, like, life. Like, light-skins was losing so much credibility, and then Matt Barnes came, and they was like, oh, my goodness, there's a tough light-skinned guy. Like, wow. So... I'm not taking nothing away from Matt Barnes' game. Mm-hmm. Derek Fisher ain't no punk now. I'm just saying. I think Derek Fisher might.
You think he might got something for him?
I think Derek Fisher might. I would put my money on Derek Fisher if there's to go in that ring.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. Hey, you're like the expert.
No offense to the light-skinned thug. No offense at all. I hope he don't take it wrong. That's the light-skinned thug for real. He's the original.
Yeah. Well, thank you for playing Holly Heat's Punch Out. And now we're going to play some Basura Buckets. And so we're going to head over to the other set.
Come on.
All right. Welcome back to the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I am your host, Holly Heat, and I am here with Mike James, and he's going to play the last game with me. It's called Basura Buckets. This is where we have 30 seconds to make as many of these little balls in the trash can as possible, but there's the name of a team on each ball, and you have to name a player of that team before you throw it in.
So are we staying current, or we can stay current? You know what? We can stay current. Okay. I'm skilled in that area.
Okay.
I know the new generation, what's going on. I'm hip.
You're hip.
I can Millie rock. Okay. My Millie rock nice.
We might have to see that. Okay, so 30 seconds.
So on me?
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Knicks, Derrick Rose.
Okay.
Ooh, bucket.
Dang. What the?
Celtics. What is his name? Are you kidding me?
You can move on. You can go to the next one.
Are you kidding me? I don't know. Pass.
Pass.
Hawks. Trey Young. Magic, pass. Nets again. Kevin Durant. Get him out.
Oh, wait. I have a chance. chance. I have a
I got
chance.
one.
Actually, I don't, because maybe this is a lot harder than what I anticipated.
I got one in.
I think I should like move it up for me too.
You said you're gonna go under here.
No. Okay. All right. I'm ready.
You gonna put that ball in there? Or you good? You don't want that team.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna go straight out of the.
Okay.
All right. Let me know.
Go.
Okay. All right. Heat. Jimmy Butler. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Hornets. LaMelo.
Trash.
Oh my God. Suns. Devin Booker.
Trash.
Nets again.
Trash.
KD.
Trash.
76ers. Joel Embiid.
Trash.
I got one. Celtics. Jaylen Brown. Pistons. Cunningham.
Nope, trash.
Cavs.
Trash. Trash.
All right. Well, it looks
At
like
least you got more games.
I did more
You didn't
attempts.
get more in the bucket.
I have more attempts.
Which means I won because I had a better shooting percentage. Because your
No,
shooting
that's
percentage
not how
is
the
trash.
game is played.
What do you mean? You was 1 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I can't lose.
Like you was 1 for 9. I was 1 for 3.
So now you're taking over the rules of my game.
So that
All
means
right.
that I won based on shooting percentage.
Okay. So my guest, Mike James, has won a game. I lost again. Anyway, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you for having a good time with me. Great interview. And I wish you all the best in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Okay. This has been Holly Heat with the Hot Seat with Holly Heat, and thank you for joining me. With the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. We're gonna have to do that.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, we'll fix it.
All right, good people.
All right.
Man, sorry we ran a little late.
Yeah, sorry about that. Now it's the part of the show where we do my wager of the week. This week I am choosing a divisional playoff game, Titans versus Bengal. I forgot. Oh, I could have just stopped it. So I'll be able to put it back in. Forgot who it was. All right, scrap that. And also, if I'm wrong, what is a penalty that I should play?
You said play.
I said play?
Yeah, you said what's the penalty I should play.
Lord. Okay. Now we're at the part of the show where we discuss my wager of the week. This week I've chosen... Okay, maybe I just need to move this because maybe I'm just like... Now we're at the part of...